They say truth is sacred, but they forget how often it is slaughtered at the altar of necessity. In the corridors of power, truth is not owed, it is weighed, wielded, and withheld like a blade. You do not give a weapon to one who would turn it against you. The ruler who bleeds too openly invites the knife. Transparency, preached by the naive and demanded by the weak, is the luxury of those who do not lead. Truth, in its rawest form, is not a gift, it is a liability. And not everyone is prepared to carry its weight without turning it into your noose. There is no virtue in being fully seen, only vulnerability. To lead is to conceal as much as you reveal, and to reveal only what serves. You must learn to fold your truth like steel, not to hide who you are, but to command how you are perceived. Loyalty is never unconditional. It is negotiated, transactional, fleeting. The one who believes it permanent will be the first to fall when tides shift. A ruler must be loved if possible, feared if necessary, but above all, understood only through a mask. Appearances are not lies, they are armor. The theater of power demands a costume, a role, a script. You must master the spectacle not because it is noble, but because it is real. The stage does not care for your intentions, it cares for control. The man who seeks to lead must forfeit the comfort of being known. You must become a mirror to ambition and a shadow to suspicion. Let others confess their truths. You must calculate yours. Every truth you give is a position you surrender. Every confession is a strategy exposed. You owe no one your center. To survive, you must govern it. Even in love, truth is currency. The one who says, "I love you," first takes the greater risk, and risk is rarely equal. In politics, in passion, in war, he who exposes first loses leverage. You must learn to speak in layers, a word for the surface, a meaning beneath, and another still buried where only you can see. This is not deceit, it is command. Do not confuse sincerity with strategy. A ruler can feel deeply, but must act coldly. The heart may ache, but the hand must remain steady. The moment your truth controls you, you have surrendered the throne within. Not all enemies declare themselves. Not all betrayal comes from those who scowl. Often it arrives with a smile, cloaked in understanding. The more you offer of yourself, the easier you make the execution. Power is not taken. It is ceded often through the naive generosity of truth. Guard it, shape it, release it like poison, like perfume, like prophecy, but never by accident. Even your silence is a message. Learn to speak through it. Let others wonder. Certainty is a gift you must never give freely. Doubt is a moat around your will. There are truths you can share, and there are truths that must die with you, not out of cowardice, but out of design, out of survival, out of rule. The man who speaks everything he feels is ruled by those who listen. He is mapped, measured, manipulated. He becomes a tool in the hands of others, and those who are tools are never kings. You must become unreadable, like a storm that offers no warning, like a chessboard without patterns. Predictability is the coffin of rulers, and truth spoken too freely is the hammer that seals the lid. Even mercy, even kindness, even love must be meted out strategically. The world does not reward the pure, it rewards the prepared, the discerning, the unrelenting. They will tell you honesty is strength. They will praise openness. They will applaud your vulnerability until they find the crack, the pressure point, the flaw. Then they will squeeze. They will turn your truth into a weapon. And when they do, you must not cry betrayal. You must blame yourself, because in the end, you gave them the blade. You must understand, the game does not forgive those who forget they are playing. Trust is not granted, it is engineered. Loyalty is not bought. It is built on fear, gain, and necessity. And truth. Truth is the last currency you spend, not the first. Reserve your truth for the moments that change destinies, the truths that shift armies, the truths that rearrange thrones. Anything less must be shrouded, shaped, swallowed. This is not cynicism, it is architecture. It is how power survives in the ruins of ideals. The lion does not announce its hunger. The serpent does not share its path. The spider does not weep for the fly. Nature itself is a scripture of concealment. You are not here to be understood. You are here to endure, to rule, to outlast. So the next time they ask for your truth, smile. Give them something they want to hear, and keep the rest for the storm that comes. Because not everyone deserves your truth, and those who demand it most usually deserve it least. They will always ask for your truth when it serves them. Their interest is rarely in understanding, it is in disarming. They want to touch the engine that drives you, not to appreciate its design, but to find the lever that can stall it. This is the nature of people when power is present. They fear what they do not control, and they seek to make you known so that you may be made manageable. But to be fully known is to be weakened. A sovereign mind must retain its interior as an enigma, even to allies, especially to allies. For betrayal does not come from strangers. It is born in intimacy. The knife is most often placed between your shoulders by the one who stood at your side. Do not confuse closeness with safety. The more they believe they know you, the easier they are to use. But the more they truly know, the more dangerous they become. You must let them grasp at shadows. Let them believe they see your soul, while in truth they trace only a mask. Appear open, speak warmly, listen with attention, but always keep your core veiled. There must be a part of you that no one can reach, a vault within you guarded by silence and steel. This is not cruelty, this is command. To rule is to be apart, even while among. The throne is not only a place, but a condition, a kind of isolation woven into the flesh. The higher you rise, the fewer you can afford to trust. Power narrows your circle even as it expands your reach. Learn to move among the many without belonging to any. Learn to see through affection, through praise, through confession. Every gesture is a bid, every smile is a calculation, every act of kindness is a test. And you must remain unshaken, unmoved, untouched in the ways that matter. People will demand sincerity, but reward performance. They will punish the truth if it disturbs their comfort, and they will abandon those who speak it when illusion is more convenient. This is why the wise ruler wears his face like armor. He knows that what people want is not the real, they want the useful, the comforting, the image that sustains their illusions and feeds their hungers. Give them what they crave, but never at your expense. Let your words serve purpose. Let your persona serve strategy. Let the real you serve only victory. You cannot move armies with honesty alone. You cannot govern cities with open wounds. You must become the architect of perception. Construct the version of yourself that inspires obedience, loyalty, awe, or fear, but never let that construction collapse into confession. They must never glimpse the doubt, the hesitation, the vulnerability that every leader feels. For once they see the crack, they will wedge it open. And soon your authority is not feared, not followed, but questioned, and questioning is the beginning of revolt. The world does not bend to those who wish to be understood. It bends to those who impose understanding. There is a kind of silence more powerful than any speech, the silence of unreadability, of withheld motive, of calm beyond interpretation. This silence unsettles. It creates distance. It creates mystery. And mystery breeds power. Do not explain yourself. Do not justify. The moment you begin to explain, you acknowledge their authority to demand an answer. That is a concession, and every concession weakens the sovereign stance. Learn to master your presence, the walk, the look, the stillness of command. Learn the voice that ends debates without raising pitch. Learn the pause that makes others measure their words before they speak again. Rule not just through decisions, but through demeanor. For there are victories that are won before a word is spoken, before a threat is made, won through posture, through perception, through the weight of an unseen will. There will be moments when you ache to be known, to be understood, to be forgiven for the burdens of command. Resist them. That longing is human, but it is not sovereign. Do not feed the need to unburden yourself. It is a trap laid by your own hunger for connection. The crown is not a refuge. It is a crucible. And if you place your need to be understood above your need to rule, you will lose both. You will find that the ones who demand your truth the most are often those least prepared to hold it. They are not asking to know you, they are asking to limit you, to file you down into something safe, something less. Give them instead a shape they can follow, a myth they can serve, an image they can elevate, but never the raw ore of your being. That remains yours, untouched, guarded like a citadel that has never been breached. This is how rulers endure. This is how states survive, not through naked virtue, not through romantic transparency, but through control, through calibration, through an understanding of what must be shown and what must be hidden, through the hard choice to give the people what they need, not what you need to give. That is the burden, that is the calling, and it is not for everyone. Do not be swayed by the sentimental. They will call you cold. Let them. They will call you false. Accept it. They will say you play a part. And you do because power is a stage, and leadership a performance no less grueling than any theater of war. What matters is not whether the audience knows the actor, but whether they rise when he enters and obey when he commands. So give them spectacle, give them strength, give them a vision, but never give them the marrow of your truth. That belongs to you and to the silence that crowns you each night when the crowds disperse and only the weight of power remains. Let them worship the role, let them follow the symbol, let them love the idea, but do not mistake that love for knowledge of who you are, because if they knew you, truly knew you, they would hesitate. And hesitation breeds rebellion. And if one day you are betrayed, and you will be, do not curse them, do not mourn. Know that it was inevitable. The world turns on betrayal. States are built on it. Empires rise when the blade finds the right back. You will not avoid it. You can only outlive it, and that means giving no one the ammunition they seek, no one the story they can twist, no one the confession they can quote in your absence. Preserve your myth. Guard your silence. Let your legend speak louder than your voice, because truth, once given, cannot be reclaimed, and power, once stained by sentiment, cannot be purified. Rule with clarity, speak with calculation, and remember always, not everyone deserves your truth. The hunger to reveal oneself, to tear off the mask, to collapse into some imagined authenticity is not strength. It is a tremor, a softness mistaken for courage by those who do not understand the price of dominion. Rule demands containment. It demands a refusal to indulge in the comfort of being known. You are not here to be comforted. You are here to hold the structure upright while others sleep beneath its shadow. Every time you are tempted to tell your truth, ask yourself who it serves. Ask yourself who benefits. Ask what is gained and what is irretrievably lost. You will find that more often than not, the only thing you achieve by revealing yourself is the erosion of your position. Do not surrender ground in the name of honesty. You are not a confessor. You are not a wounded soul begging for witness. You are the architect of force, the steward of a storm barely contained. There is no room for sentimentality and sovereignty. Feel yes, feel deeply, fully, even violently, but do not act on that feeling unless it sharpens the blade. Keep the furnace lit, but the door closed. No one must see the fire until it becomes flame upon the field. Your emotion is a weapon. Do not hand it to others like a keepsake. Use it like fire-controlled, concealed, and devastating when released. You will hear much about being real. As if power requires confession, as if the legitimacy of your will depends on their understanding of your journey. This is a lie told by those who wish to drag rulers down to the level of those they must command. Your reality is not for their comfort. Your truth is not a collective property. You do not owe the story of your suffering to the crowd. You owe them results, stability, victory, the peace that follows a well-executed strategy. The pedestal is not a pulpit. It is a position, and positions must be protected. Do not mistake their fascination for friendship. They are drawn to power as moths are to flame, and just as quickly will recoil when they feel its heat. Do not give them the chance to become disillusioned by your humanity. Keep the light distant. Let them believe what serves the state, what serves your command. You are not here to be loved. If love comes, let it be on your terms. Let it serve a purpose, but never chase it, never bleed for it, never reveal yourself hoping it will bind them to you. Loyalty born from pity or affection is a rope made of spider silk. It breaks in the wind, but fear, respect, awe, these are foundations that endure. Even mercy must be strategic. Even compassion must be measured. If you give because your heart compels you, and not because the moment demands it, you have already stepped into the trap. They will see the gap between ruler and man, and they will reach for it. Every concession opens a door. Every explanation invites scrutiny. Every emotional exposure becomes precedent, and then expectation. Break that chain before it forms. Govern your revelations like a treasury. Each word spent must return value, reinforce myth, extend reach. You are not a diary. You are a fortress. What is kept inside is kept because it matters, and because its exposure would weaken the walls. They will speak of trust. They will ask for it, demand it. But trust is not a gift, it is leverage. It is not given freely, but granted sparingly to bind others to your orbit. Trust them only when their survival depends on you. Love them only when it does not endanger you. Reveal yourself only when doing so causes them to kneel, not rise. There is no honor in destruction born from honesty, no glory in falling on the sword of your own truth. That is not noble, it is failure. Rulers are not martyrs. They do not confess, they endure. They adapt. They reshape themselves as needed, not to deceive, but to remain sovereign. Even in private, even in solitude, you must be vigilant. The voice inside you that demands release, that cries out to be understood, silence it, not by force, but by purpose. Remind it that the mission is greater than the moment, that survival is the ultimate principle, and that survival, in the realm of power, requires concealment, requires control, requires sacrifice of comfort for command. Let them call you distant. Let them say you are calculating. Let them whisper that they do not know what lies behind your eyes. Let them wonder. Let them fear. Let them imagine. Their ignorance is your advantage. Their speculation is your smoke. And you, ruler of silence, walk through it untouched. You are not ice. You are fire in disguise. You burn where needed. You warm where useful. But you never expose the source. You never let them see the core, because once they see it, they will seek to own it, to change it, to destroy it. What is seen is vulnerable. What is unknown, they must respect. Even when you love, love like a ruler. Guard the edge of it. Never love blindly. Love with open eyes, with measured hand, and never reveal the depth, not even to the one you love. If they are wise, they will understand. If they are not, they are a threat. Remember, the deepest betrayals do not come from enemies. They come from those you once told the truth. So speak in riddles, act in clarity, feel in solitude, rule in silence. They will follow what they can see, they will obey what they can fear, and they will honor what they cannot possess. And above all, never forget, not everyone deserves your truth. Truth, once given to the undeserving, does not return to you in the form you released it. It returns twisted, repurposed, weaponized. It becomes a whisper in rooms where you are absent, a story recited by tongues that have no allegiance to your cause. Power is not merely about holding ground, it is about controlling the narrative. And narratives are born not only from action, but from exposure. safeguard your story. Let only fragments escape, each one crafted with intention, designed to serve the larger image, not to unburden, but to bind. In politics, the truth is not what happened, it is what is believed. And belief can be shaped far more easily than facts can be controlled. If they believe you are strong, then you are. If they believe you are just, then your judgment is law. But if they believe they have seen you, truly seen you, then the mystique evaporates. And with it, so does your command. A leader unmasked too soon becomes an equal. An equal cannot command. Only distance creates reverence. Only obscurity breeds awe. You must remain one step beyond comprehension. One moment ahead of their questions. One layer deeper than they can interpret. Not because you are hiding, but because you are preserving the boundary between rule and ruin. There will be moments dark, quiet moments, when the silence around you feels unbearable, when you crave a witness, not to your strength, but to your burden, and still you must resist. There is a price for every act of emotional surrender. Each time you pull back the curtain, you invite not comfort, but exposure. And exposure, to those who do not hold your fate in their hands, is always a loss. Let them think you are cold. Let them think you do not feel. But never let them confirm it. Let your silence speak in tones they cannot decipher. Let your restraint become your language. This is not about deception. This is about the stewardship of influence, about the geometry of power, about the architecture of fear, respect, uncertainty, the ingredients of dominion. Even in defeat, do not yield your truth. A ruler who bleeds with dignity, yet reveals nothing, remains dangerous, because no one knows what he may still possess. But the one who collapses, confessing, justifying, exposing the wounds he has finished, not because he fell, but because he made himself legible. They know his thresholds. They have mapped his will, and once mapped, a man is no longer feared. Reputation is armor, and truth, misused, corrodes it from within. A single admission can undo years of cultivated image. One phrase, spoken in fatigue or in misplaced trust, can become the line etched into the marble of history. Not the victories, not the reforms, not the vision, just the weakness, just the error. So do not speak unless the words are sharpened. Do not confide unless the silence that follows would be more dangerous than the truth you offer. Learn to wield ambiguity like a dagger. Let your enemies swing at shadows. Let your allies remain uncertain of your depth. Certainty is for followers. Leaders must remain half-veiled, half-understood, entirely commanding. You may wonder, is this loneliness? No, it is sovereignty. Loneliness is what the abandoned feel. But you are not abandoned. You are a part. You are above. You are necessary. And necessity knows no sentiment. The throne does not come with warmth. It comes with weight. It is not built for comfort. It is built to outlast the storms. And so you must become the storm's companion. Impersonal, enduring, elemental. You do not explain thunder. You do not apologize for lightning. You do not confess the motives of the wind. You simply arrive, unyielding, undeniable, and leave behind a changed landscape. This is what power demands. This is what truth, when wielded carelessly, cannot sustain. Because truth, in its unfiltered form, is not a strength. It is a softness mistaken for virtue. And virtue, if it is not strategic, is ornamental at best, fatal at worst. Understand this. The world is not governed by the honest. It is governed by the disciplined, the precise, the ones who know when to speak and what not to say. Those who understand that restraint is more powerful than confession, that mystery is more magnetic than transparency, and that silence, when properly mastered, roars louder than any proclamation. Do not seek validation through revelation. They will never understand what it cost you to rise. They will never appreciate the battles fought in silence. And if they do, they will use it against you. Their love is conditional. Their allegiance is contingent. Their curiosity is not neutral. It is hunger, masked as care. You do not feed wolves with your flesh to win their affection. You train them to keep their distance, and if they approach too closely, you remind them who commands the pack. Even in diplomacy, even in compromise, you must never trade truth for peace. Peace that comes from exposure is temporary. It is a disarmament, disguised as reconciliation. You will pay for it later, with interest. What you reveal today will be brought back tomorrow in negotiations where your opponent knows your breaking points, knows your values, knows where you bleed. You must think not in moments, but in patterns, not in impulses, but in legacies. The true ruler moves like a sculptor, shaving away what is unnecessary, revealing only what must be seen and nothing more. Precision is the highest form of truth. And the truth, if it cannot be wielded like a weapon, must be hidden like a treasure. Let them call you unreadable. That is their weakness. Let them say you are impossible to know. That is your strength. Let them feel your presence more than they hear your words. That is your dominion. Because the truth is not for them. It is for the mirror. It is for the silence after battle. It is for the last breath before sleep. And even then, only the portion that cannot be turned against you. Not everyone deserves your truth. And if you wish to endure, if you wish to rule, you must ensure they never hold it in their hands. And when the day comes, because it always comes when power fades, when titles vanish, when the weight of command slips from your shoulders and the world no longer kneels at your presence, you will stand alone, as every ruler must. And in that solitude, stripped of the armor of role, stripped of the theater, you will look inward and find the only truth that was ever yours to hold, the truth you never gave. It will be untouched by betrayal, untarnished by the mouths of others. It will not be distorted in memory or twisted in retelling, because you carried it, alone, in silence. You guarded it not out of pride, but out of purpose. And in that last moment when there is nothing left to gain, nothing left to lose, you will know you ruled well, because you knew what to withhold. They will tell stories of you. Some will call you ruthless, others wise. They will argue over your motives, project their fears, their ideals, their regrets onto your image. Let them. That is the price of legend. You will have become myth not by exposure, but by control. And myths do not confess. Myths do not explain. Myths endure because they are never entirely seen. So when the crowd fades, when the empire crumbles, when your name is carved in stone or spat into dust, one thing will remain untouchable, the truth you never surrendered. It will be your final victory. Quiet, absolute, and irrevocable. Because in the end, power belongs not to those who are known, but to those who are unknowable. Not everyone deserves your truth, and the one who understands that rules.